Do, 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 do. I don't even know what song that's from, but Joe Rogan has hummed that so many times or something like it that it's stuck in my head forever. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Vidulant Podcast. It is a crazy, crazy B2B world out there. You better stay vigilant. So, this episode of the podcast, as with all episodes, are brought to you by Vidulant, the first and only true ABM automation solution in the world. Um, Check out vidulant.com/training to learn how to automate your B2B marketing for free. All right. So, it's about 9:30 here. Don't have a real had to go to a client side. What do they call it? Client side. Had to go client side today into the real world and watch how other people work, and makes me um makes me remember why I'm doing all this. Not only is it really challenging, I'm building an entire ABM program single-handedly for inside sales and outside sales. Um, it's going to support almost $200 million in revenue and 180, something like that, 180s, somewhere in the 180s. And it's pretty much all on my shoulders. There's other people working on it, and other people are going to operate it and scale it out, I would say. But I'm building the whole damn thing, and it's kind of crazy. And the next client, which is why I made Vigilant, I'm doing too much work, I'm getting paid well, and all that my process is going into this client manually. It's the most complicated thing I've ever done. My contract with them is very specific, and so um, it's crazy. So I'm using pieces. How do I say this? There's 6 softwares in Vigilant, and I'm using them manually for my clients right now. New clients are being onboarded just into the software. So I'm not looking for more consulting work. I know it's out there. Everybody needs help with their ABM, account-based marketing. Nobody knows what's going on. Um, we can set one up in minutes practically. It's it's just more complicated for this client, for reasons, I guess, or probably proprietary. I shouldn't get into, but very challenging because they're selling um, they're selling software into the enterprise space, into food franchises, restaurants, and first they have to get the corporate account. Once they get the brand on board, and maybe they have, I don't know, some minority of their stores are corporate owned, 10% or what have you, and they might switch over to this software. Um, then they get the license to hunt for all the other corporate stores, franchise owners. So then you have to do another ABM campaign on selling the franchise units a new product. Oftentimes there's several, 1 to 3 companies that get the license to hunt to keep competition going. And then, so you have to sell a new product to a new client and then a new product to their clients effectively. But then your existing clients, you have to sell new products to. So there's 3 ABM strategies. I'm in charge of finding the setting it all up, finding the solution here. And this is what is the thought process I bring to that is the thought process that went into Vigilant. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy. And ABM is really tough. We're talking about uh, so effectively what's going on. There's just too many vendors involved. I wish I could be the only vendor and just get it done, but Vigilant wasn't ready in time, and so this is a brand new endeavor. They've been planning. There's a merger involved. There's multiple vendors, and so it must be done manually with certain key pieces remaining intact. So we're building around a kind of a skeletal structure, and um, it's kind of crazy how complicated the normal way is to do B2B marketing right now. You get all this software, so you know you need automation tools. Okay, you go get Salesforce, you get Pardot, you get whatever other solutions you need. You get a content library, you get a email automation, you get um, all that stuff. You got to integrate that together, make sure it works. You got to get an analytics dashboard so you can see what's going. You can see inside this contraption you're building. Then you have to make content, and then you have to distribute that content, and that content needs to build a database in your CRM. Now this is how we do things a little bit differently. Instead of um, well, let's get to the secret sauce another time. Um, you have email lists that you know who you're talking to. Well, let's talk about it now. So basically, the way we do it that's very different is that this vest could not take any longer to fall. Good lord. Oh my god, just fall already. You're driving me crazy over there. Jesus Christ, talk about equilibrium. So the way we do it is unique. We create content. That content converts your accounts into active prospects. We nurture those prospects into active sales inquiries. Um, we do this all by we do it all by creating video content, and then from that video content, creating all the subsidiary types of content, while still educating your prospects on their challenges, your solution, the insights they need, the whole gamut. It gives people exactly what they need, when they need it, where they need it, and in a format that they're expecting, how they need it. Otherwise, you have to bring on a social media agency to uh, um, you have to bring on a social media agency to create the content, format the content, distribute the content, manage the ads, and you know, build the prospect list. Then you have to have someone with in the organization. So you have to have vendors create the creative, let's just say the artwork, so to speak. Then you have to have the technology to manage all the data. Okay. Then you have to bring on people into your organization, hire extra people to manage the vendors and the new technology. And one of those vendors is typically going to set, as a consulting agency that just does ABM, and they're the ones orchestrating it. Or you have someone in house who knows what they're doing, or some combination. And so you have these three things, these expense buckets: extra staff, extra vendors, extra technology. And depending on what you are and what you're doing, the sum total of those costs is easily $1 million a year. And we replace it all like that. It takes them 3 to 6 months, realistically 2 quarters to spin up an ABM program, another 2 quarters to even have a shot at getting things right. So before you know it, you can't expect much in a corporate setting to happen under a year. We can get it up and running in 1 quarter, working, validated, proven. Everyone there is going to want an annual retainer, especially on the technology side, which I fucking hate. We do everything monthly. You're going to sign up for people in the technology space. You're building this whole program on their technology, and they will not be there to help you. They will help with onboarding, and then they will check in once a month and sell you more services if you need help. If their technology was so good, they would just run it for you, because it'd be so efficient. You would happily pay this slight surcharge. That's never the case. Most technology vendors, they have this fucking bloatware that they sell you, and it looks good, and they sell it to you, and then you realize, because you don't know where all the goddamn buttons are and the functionality and the features, and everybody has a different language that they use to to sell you their product. It's not a B2B blog. It's a content experience. That'll be $50,000. Thank you, in a 12-month contract. So we're all customer friendly. We're very customer focused. At any rate, it's just the way people are doing it now is insane. The way we're doing it for our new clients is seamless. I mean, simple. It's beautiful. So I'm always excited to be helping a mid market company achieve a world class result. I think that's cool. That's where like impact and scale really, I think that supply and demand curve, so to speak, match up because you can affect change in a mid-market company. In an enterprise company, a culture is locked in. It's over. It's an institution almost at that point. But a mid-market company, it's still nimble, responsive, reactive. It's still a little scared it could go out of business at any moment. A couple bad years and the whole thing could end, right? Um, Yet they have the systems and processes and distribution in place and sales teams, and so they can sell. Their products can go out into the world. And I love the idea that if you are helping a mid-market company, you're making a big impact on the world, so to speak. They're feeding people, they're employing people, they're servicing clients. I mean, um, it's cool. It's cool to be involved in the economy. It's cool to be a functioning member of society. I know a lot of people in my generation think it's cool to like tune out and detach and escape into their cell phones, but I personally like the world and I like reality and I like our little planet here. I love everything we're doing and I like being a part of it. And I find that if you actually find your place in the tribe, life gets a lot more fun. You get a lot more rewards. You get a lot more intrinsic feeling of self value. You know what I mean? Of value. Um, so pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. And so I went to client side today. Did some heavy lifting, vendor management, strategy, and coaching and training and all sorts of stuff. And I'm excited to do it. The interesting thing was it I was in a it was a dreary day here in Charlotte. And until I got some meetings at the end of the day and talked to some other people, I didn't cheer up. And it really was just like that. It's cool how other people can just change your mood in a moment. Um, it's exciting. Headed to where are we going? February SaaStr conference where the cloud meets. I'm worried it's going to be all a bunch of salespeople selling shit, but the sessions should be good, and I hope to make a few friends. To be honest with you, I got blocked by an up and coming venture capitalist in Silicon Valley, and I know I say silicon. One of my professors, if I was from Europe, called it silicon, and I'm like, I like that, and it just stuck. At any rate, and it made me think about, on one hand, Silicon Valley has this culture problem. There's a phrase out there, solve your own problem, something like that, or be your own customer, or build your own, product for yourself. The problem is these people are making a lot of dumb products for themselves in this bubble. And it's not really solving the rest, only 2% of firms are venture backed, but they get like 98% of the press. And a couple of these huge exits that have mostly ruined lives. I mean, I'm looking at you, Facebook and and Instagram. Um, and I mean, there's not positives. Don't get me wrong, but they've been weaponized. There's controversy. It's a weird culture out there, and there's I don't like it. I'm not a part of that club. I don't have access to that capital. So part of me is jealous. That's for sure. I've flown out there. I've tried raising money. I don't know how in God's name you're supposed to do it. I don't know. I don't know how. I could not get. Someone once said you need 40 um, pitches to raise money. I couldn't get 4 meetings. 4 meetings is hard. When people don't know you, when you're not in, when you don't have a warm intro, that's like supposed to be the number one way get um to get a VC meeting. Anyway, I don't like the whole thing. I think of myself as a business person, a businessman. I'm not an entrepreneur. I invented something, sure, and I'm taking it to market, hopefully making a new market. But an entrepreneur in today's world, if you will, 2019, means you have to raise money. It means how much money did you raise? Entrepreneur means venture capitalist. The branding is inseparable. And oddly, the entrepreneurial lifestyle, which is this like thing on Instagram, it's a huge movement. A ton of people want to be entrepreneurs, but they're really the lifestyle they're after, they think is the entrepreneurial lifestyle, is actually the business person's lifestyle. Because a business person can start a business just for making cash flow and live whatever kind of lifestyle they want, manage whatever size business they want for whatever size lifestyle they want, because it's just business. But entrepreneurship needs to change the world, and you have to pretend you're part of the new economy. Even if you're not, you have to. That's all the branding. And then, you kind of tend to hire from all these similar schools. You get this group think going, and the founders mimic the venture capitalists, and the venture capitalists mimic the founders, and you're not quite sure who's lying to who, and maybe we're all just trying to make a shit ton of money as fast as possible. It's very weird. It's like California Wall Street. That's what it is. It's like a Wall Street for hippies, but it's caused this thing where the rest of the country is like, hey, how about some capital over here? Try raising some angel financing. And so you get into this thing, I can go on for hours, where you have to go there effectively, and which is why there's rent is so expensive. And if you want to raise money, you have to have an introduction, you have to start meeting people. It's very California. If you worked at a huge startup, you get preferential treatment. Well, who has the time to go raise money? If you don't have a business and you can't afford to fly out there and talk to people, I mean, how are you supposed to do it? Well, it turns out venture capitalists love investing in people that have worked as engineers at Google, Lyft, and so on. Those kids out of college get paid $150,000 to $215,000 a year. So in 1 year, they could have enough savings to not work for a year, or work remotely or part time, right? And they're so in demand. So it's just this like self-referencing bubble. It's really a thick bubble. And if you're in there because of the talent or the capital, I don't blame you at all. I get it. It makes a lot of sense. Um, but you're gonna be tempted to keep raising money, and everyone around you is used to cheap capital, very cheap capital. Even if you fail forward and you go roll that into your next startup. And a lot there's a failure worshiping culture out there. um and so your hires are going to come in with a weird mindset, and your marketers are going to come in with a weird mindset, because a lot of people are used to growing these companies that I think has stumbled onto viral business models. Most of the people in Silicon Valley, they typically, from what I gather, start companies until one takes off. There's no engineering it. There's no putting not putting deals together, but it seems very much like they don't know which ones are going to work and why. Versus if you start a business and you go after customers, you get a sense very quickly of the demand for this product. Over there, it's like the idea is so hot that there has to surely be demand. Well, it's not that simple, and you typically run out of marketing dollars until you get your messaging, especially when you don't have to go through enough. You don't have the pressure to iterate fast enough that a typical company would to get actual customers going. My my point being though is that there's this like marketing growth hacking out there, and it's skewed because a lot of people that have grown companies very large, the business model itself that they stumbled across, like ride sharing, is very viral and very in demand, and was like you didn't have to. I'm not saying you didn't have to market it, but there was a general demand for it everywhere in the country, and so it just made me think about all this stuff getting banned by this guy. I wish him the best. I think he's going to be a famous venture capitalist, but it's part of me is like, do you, man? Go after it. The other part of me is like, you're destroying America. It's like, that's how I feel, and I don't know what to think about it. Part of me, here's the problem, at the core of the problem. Venture capitalists are getting tricked by entrepreneurs to fund shit that the entrepreneur knows will never, ever work. But they want it to work, and they want the lifestyle, the entrepreneurial lifestyle, is really the venture backed lifestyle. It's the subsidy lifestyle. It's the LPs, the limited partners that manage fucking pensions and university endowments and hedge funds and family offices invest in venture capitalists. These venture capitalists are nerds, and these effectively cool kids, cool founders are coming in and saying, hey man, I'm the next Steve Jobs. You need to back me. Vision. They have this great way of telling the story. They're masterful storytellers. A lot of them are, no wonder they're all in California. And they pretty much start the company that the VC will back. I fell into that trap where I'm like, how do I get the money? What do I gotta say to get the money? Right? And if you're a good salesperson and you have no scruples, you'll say whatever you need to get the money. At the end of the day, the VC is writing off 1 out of, what would you say, 4 out of 10, 4 out of 5 checks, something like that. So they're like, good luck, kid. Go nuts. We're gonna get one of these smart kids from Ivy League is gonna make it work, you know? And so it's like Ivy League capital. It's just so referential that referencing that it just drives me bonkers. And but you can't say any of this shit in VC culture. It's very taboo. No, 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 no. You're not allowed to talk about these things and raise money. So I was locked out. I'm admitting it, or I'm enjoying it. All right, on to the news. Let's take a quick break. I'm gonna get some water. I'll be back in 30. Oh man, that's good. Well done. Okay. I don't know why I took Spanish from class. So many degrees of freedom. My goodness. I just don't know how to do it. Apple doesn't make as much money as it possibly could. Newsflash. Hey, I predicted on Twitter. Scott Galloway kind of put the seed of thought in my head, but I feel like I came up with a better idea. Expect a bundle from Apple. I think they're gonna launch a university, an Ivy League for the middle class. They could anyway. Their brand is strong enough and luxurious enough where they can charge $5,000 to $15,000 a year for a bundle of hardware, the MacBook, iPad, and an iPhone, and an account on like a live lecture, not AirTunes, iTunes, and so you can get certified in 2 to 4 years, get a degree in design, branding, computer engineering, programming, and logistics and fucking manufacturing. electronics manufacturing. I mean, who wouldn't get a degree from any of those things from an Apple remote campus? And you can go to any Starbucks and study at any, um, you know, XY university. They'll probably rent out the space. So high margin, global university that's better than anything else on the market for less. Um, you're welcome, Tim Cook. Put me on your board. What else is going on? Let's go to tech. Apple scrambles to fix FaceTime bug that allows eavesdropping. You weren't supposed to know. AT&T wants to be big in entertainment. First, it has a $49 billion problem to fix. The telecom giant is attempting to expand its footprint in the media industry, currently in a state of flux. But since acquiring DirecTV, the satellite pay TV service has become a drag on AT&T's business and public image. Tough break. Uber wants you to catch the bus or train if they can drive you there. Fresh from disrupting the taxi industry and leaping into food delivery, Uber is devising a new business strategy ahead of its anticipated public offering, ferrying passengers to and from mass transit systems. That's genius. That is genius. If it sticks, which I'm sure they've tested to know that it's good enough and they can increase its value or quality over time, bravo. Bravo. This man, it's a Persian man. It's a Persian man from Iran. Uber CEO. Dara Khosrowshahi. Khosrowshahi. Man, I'm Persian and I can't pronounce Persian names. Dara, good job, man. He has changed the culture to a sufficient enough degree to come up with this gem of an idea. And I really mean, it's an elegant solution. And you can't find elegance in messy, toxic cultures. Elegance is a subtle thing. It comes in the silence. It comes in the space between conversations that are stimulating, and you go off and think, and things reduce down. It's something I saw and I was immersed in the physics department at U of I Chicago. I love it, and so it's a big part of the theory of science, elegance in a theory, and so philosophy of science, excuse me. I love this because you have a built-in infrastructure, built-in backbone distribution network for your strategy. Your go-to-market now is your point of sale, effectively, in a way, is every bus stop. They're all mapped. They're all in your systems already in your Uber, so you know the average distances. These cars are already circling in those areas because they're typically in places where there's enough foot traffic and travel that warranted the public transit in the first place. Your average sale, if you will, or trip time is going to be very small because you're going into these small little nooks and crannies, so you can increase your order volume, so to speak. God, I'm in restaurant mode. I'm immersed in the restaurant industry right now, and it's brilliant. It's a brilliant thing. Your algorithms are already, your machine learning is already acclimated or accurate enough in these regions to know, oh, it's perfect. God, that's gonna fucking work. That's gonna work. It's complicated though because you have a lot of activity around these nodes, these very specific nodes, as opposed to dispersing that activity across the whole city. It might fucking increase traffic. But God, the next thing you know, these Uber cars are gonna be talking to each other through the app, the driver app. Thank you. You're welcome, Dara. Put me on the board. Patent pending. Are they? They must be. They must be taught. Their data is got to go to a central database, but in real time in a mesh network. I wonder if the Uber apps, why couldn't they? They're on GPS. They have the cell phone showers. So they know where they are. They know how fast they're going. They don't know they know what direction they're going. It's like a little Waze built in. They could probably organize their own traffic patterns. That's to some degree eventually. eBay to pay its first ever dividend. Wow! Congratulations, eBay. I'm so happy for you. As Amazon and other foreign players dominate, India touts homegrown. Why you gotta put a guy like in a or a woman and it's like so weird. Motorists can now access Waze app directions in New York tunnels. Hey, wow, good job. What's going on here? Hello. I guess it was you couldn't get service down there before. I wonder if Waze paid for that. I wonder how they did that too. From Bluetooth to 5G, all your wireless is about to change. Really? The US case against Huawei. I feel like I gotta beat myself or I'm gonna be let's see, can I just break all copyright norms here and play something from the Wall Street Journal? Free advertising. Yeah. Oh, cool. Virtual financial stuff. Yep. Ooh, an experience. What? FBI Director Christopher Wray. Huawei. Oh shit. Oh fuck. God damn it! I just bought one too. I mean, oh, is anyone surprised? Is anyone surprised that Huawei was stealing? What were they looking for? Oh man. I wonder what that conversation was like. I wonder what they say in Chinese. Get the arm. Sir? The arm! Of course. Yeah, I bet. Well, there you go. Global smartphone shipments quarter three of each year. Well, pretty insane. Pretty insane. I don't think anyone's surprised. I assumed this computer would be spying on me, but I just assume the Chinese are spying on everybody all the time anyway. So, you know, I wanted to see what it'd be like to break free from the fucking Apple gulag, but here I am. I'm gonna get sucked back in because they'll at least and on the other hand, Apple's like, F you, FBI. We're not going to crack into an iPhone, which is oddly the opposite. I do got to say, I'm not hating this Windows 10. It's working. Sadly, all I do is open up a web browser, though, which makes me think I should probably go back to Chromebook. Pretty crazy. Let's see what their You know what? Let's leave it at there. That rant probably got us to half an hour. I gotta do the next podcast. So with that, thank you for listening to this episode of the Vidulant Podcast. My name is Arash Meany. I am the founder of Vidulant, and I hope to help every mid-market B2B firm automate their ABM. Thank you and good night.